At first, it sounds like a joke. You are standing in line at a grocery store. Eggs cost twice what they did last year. Rent just went up. Your phone buzzes. A headline. The world's richest man adds $12 billion to his net worth today. Not this year, not this decade, today. And something inside you tightens. Not rage, not envy. Something quieter, something heavier. A feeling that the game you are playing is not the same game they are winning. This is not a story about jealousy. That's the easy explanation, and it's wrong. This is a story about trust, about power, and about why, for the first time in modern history, resentment toward billionaires is becoming mainstream, and why it's not going away. Let's start with something simple. For most of human history, extreme wealth had limits. Kings could only tax so much. Empires could only expand so far. Even robber barons eventually hit physical ceilings. Factories needed workers. Land needed farmers. Money had friction. That friction is gone. Today's billionaires don't just own things. They own systems, platforms, networks, data, algorithms, things that scale without asking permission. One engineer writes code once. That code reaches 1 billion people. Revenue grows. Costs barely move. This is new. And the average person feels it, even if they can't explain it. Because their life still has limits. Their time is capped at 24 hours. Their bodies get tired. Their paycheck stops when they stop. The billionaire's wealth does not. That asymmetry is where the discomfort begins. Now, here's where the resentment really forms. We were told a story. Work hard, play by the rules, get educated, be productive. And over time, things will improve. That story worked for decades. Wages rose with productivity. Housing was affordable. Healthcare was survivable. One job could support a family. Then something snapped. Productivity kept rising. Profits exploded. Markets soared. But wages stalled. From the 1970s onward, workers got more efficient. Companies made more money. Executives earned more. The median worker did not. So when people see billionaires multiplying their wealth while working harder just to stay in place, the math feels insulting. Not confusing, insulting. Because the system is clearly producing winners, just not them. And that leads to the next fracture. Billionaires are no longer just rich. They are visible, inescapable. Every app, every platform, every device. Their names are brands. Their opinions are headlines. Their jokes move markets. They don't just influence culture, they shape it. And when something goes wrong, they are always there, floating above the damage. Factory shuts down, stock goes up, layoffs announced, CEO bonus increases, environmental damage, private jet photos. The message people receive is not that billionaires are evil, it's that consequences are optional. Now let's talk about fairness, not equality, fairness. Most people accept inequality if the rules feel honest. A better athlete earns more. A better entrepreneur succeeds. That feels fair. But what happens when wealth comes from leverage instead of contribution? From financial engineering, from monopolies, from regulatory capture, from systems that lock competitors out before they can even try? The modern billionaire is often not the person building value. They are the person owning the bottleneck, the toll booth, the platform everyone else must pass through. And toll collectors are never loved, especially when they insist they earned it. Then comes the moral whiplash. Billionaires talk about meritocracy, about hustle, about discipline, while inheriting networks, capital, and second chances most people never get. They say anyone can make it, but the ladder keeps getting taller, and the bottom rungs keep disappearing. That gap between rhetoric and reality is gasoline. Now add one more ingredient, politics. We like to believe democracies are run by voters, but money bends access. Lobbyists write policy. Campaigns depend on donors. Think tanks follow funding. When billionaires speak, doors open. When normal people speak, they wait. So resentment turns into suspicion. Are decisions being made for society or for portfolios? And once people start asking that question, trust erodes fast. Then there's the final, uncomfortable layer. Billionaires don't just have money, they have optionality. They can leave. Different country, different tax system, different rules. If things go bad, they exit. The common man cannot. He is anchored by job, by family, by paperwork, by borders. So when billionaires preach patience during economic pain, it sounds hollow. They are not riding the same storm. They are watching it from above the clouds. At this point, people usually say, but billionaires create jobs. Sometimes they do, but jobs are not charity. Jobs are transactions. And when the same company cuts wages, automates roles, and posts record profits, the goodwill evaporates. People don't hate wealth creation, they hate wealth extraction. They don't resent success, they resent immunity. And here's the twist. The anger is not actually about billionaires. It's about a system that feels rigged, abstract, and untouchable. Billionaires become symbols, walking proof that the rules changed quietly, and nobody voted. That effort no longer maps cleanly to reward. That the future feels owned before it arrives. Which brings us to the most dangerous part of all. History. Every era with extreme wealth concentration ends the same way, not politely, not gradually, with backlash, sometimes through reform, sometimes through collapse, sometimes through movements that start online and end in the streets. When too many people feel locked out, they stop believing in the game. And when belief dies, stability follows it. So the real question is not why the common man hates billionaires. The real question is this: what happens when enough people decide the system no longer represents them? Because resentment is not the end stage, it's the warning light. And right now, that light is flashing.